The detention cell hummed with the low thrum of the Zephyrian battlecruiser's engines. Commander Vexitar clicked his mandibles in amusement as he observed the latest prisoner through the energy barrier. The human sat motionless in the corner, arms wrapped around his knees, appearing utterly defeated. "Look at this pathetic creature," Vexitar chittered to his second-in-command, Sub-Commander Krillax. "No natural weapons, no armor plating, no venomous sacs. How did such a weak species ever leave their homeworld?" The human's name was Marcus Chen, according to the datapad, a maintenance engineer from the human colony ship New Horizon, captured during the Zephyrians' latest raid. Unlike the other prisoners who had been taken to the labor camps, this one had been kept for interrogation about human military capabilities. "The interrogation begins in one cycle," Krillax reported, his four eyes gleaming with anticipation. "Though I doubt this soft creature will provide much useful information." Marcus raised his head slightly, revealing tired brown eyes that seemed to catalog every detail of his surroundings. The Zephyrians had stripped him of everything, his tools, his comm device, even his boots. All that remained were his standard-issue gray coveralls and the knowledge accumulated through 20 years of fixing broken systems in the harshest environments humanity had discovered. The cell was sparse but not empty. A waste disposal unit sat in one corner, its housing slightly corroded. Water dripped steadily from a condensation leak in the ceiling, creating a small puddle near the energy barrier. Discarded food containers from previous prisoners littered the floor, along with what appeared to be fragments of a broken maintenance panel. Most beings would see trash. Marcus saw opportunity. As the guards moved away to continue their patrol, Marcus began to work. Years of emergency repairs had taught him to see potential in the most unlikely materials. The corroded waste unit contained a small power cell, weak but functional. The food containers were made of a metallic composite that could conduct electricity under the right conditions. The broken panel fragments contained microcircuits that, while damaged, still held trace amounts of rare earth elements. Moving with practiced silence, Marcus began dismantling components with his bare hands. The Zephyrians had been thorough in their search but had missed the most dangerous weapon of all, human ingenuity. The water leak became his friend, providing the moisture needed to create a primitive electrolytic cell using strips torn from the food containers. The rare earth elements from the microcircuits, when properly arranged, could create a small but potent electromagnetic field. The power cell would provide the initial charge. Hours passed. The guards made their rounds, occasionally glancing at what appeared to be a human, simply sitting in defeat, unaware that Marcus was carefully concealing his work each time they approached. His hands moved with the precision of someone who had spent years working in zero-gravity environments where a single mistake could mean death. When Commander Vexitar returned for the interrogation, he found Marcus standing calmly in the center of the cell, empty hands at his sides. "Ready to cooperate, human?" Vexitar sneered, his translator rendering his clicks and whistles into standard galactic. "Or shall we demonstrate what happens to those who resist the Zephyrian Empire?" Marcus smiled, an expression that the Zephyrians had not yet learned to interpret as dangerous. "You know, Commander, your people have been expanding across the galaxy for 3 centuries. You've conquered dozens of species, each with their own natural weapons and defenses." "Indeed," Vexitar replied, puffing up with pride. "We are the apex predators of this galaxy. But you've never encountered anything quite like humans, have you?" Marcus continued conversationally. "We don't have claws or fangs. No natural armor or poison. Hell, we can't even see in the dark properly." The commander clicked his mandibles dismissively, "which is precisely why your species will serve excellently as laborers." His words were cut short as Marcus raised his hand, revealing a crude but effective electromagnetic pulse device, cobbled together from the cell's discarded components. The device was no larger than his palm, held together with strips of fabric and focused through a lens created from the condensed water and a curved piece of container plastic. "But what we do have," Marcus said, his voice hardening, "is the ability to turn anything, and I mean anything, into a weapon." The EMP discharged with a sharp crack. The detention cell's energy barrier flickered and died. Emergency lighting bathed the corridor in red as the ship's security systems began failing in cascade. Alarms blared as Marcus stepped through the deactivated barrier. Vexitar stumbled backward, his cybernetic implants sparking as they short-circuited. Throughout the ship, similar devices began failing as the pulse propagated through the electrical systems. "Impossible!" Krillax gasped, reaching for his weapon only to find it non-responsive. How did you— There was nothing in that cell. Marcus picked up the commander's disabled weapon, examining it with professional interest. That's the thing about humans, he said, beginning to disassemble the device with swift, confident movements. Give us absolutely nothing and we'll find a way to make something. Give us scraps and we'll build miracles. Within minutes, he had jury-rigged the alien weapon into a functioning plasma cutter. The irony wasn't lost on him. The Zephyrian's own technology improved by human modifications. As more guards arrived with backup weapons, Marcus had already begun work on his next creation, using components from the ship's own corridor panels. Each improvised device was more sophisticated than the last, born from the uniquely human ability to see solutions where others saw only problems. The liberation of the prison ship took less than 4 hours. The rescued colonists found their captors locked in their own detention cells, guarded by security systems that had been completely rewritten by a maintenance engineer with empty hands and an unlimited imagination. As the New Horizon crew prepared to retake their colony ship, Commander Vextar sat in his former prison cell, staring at the improvised devices that had defeated his technologically superior vessel. How? He whispered to Marcus, who was putting finishing touches on a communications array built from kitchen utensils and decorative panels. Marcus looked up from his work, that same dangerous smile playing across his face. You spent so long perfecting your natural weapons that you forgot the most important lesson in the galaxy, he said. The most dangerous predator isn't the one born with claws, it's the one that learned to make them. The human turned back to his work, hands already reaching for the next component, the next possibility, the next impossible solution that would somehow inevitably become reality. In the vast darkness of space, humanity's greatest weapon wasn't technology or numbers. It was the simple, terrifying fact that they refused to accept that anything was truly impossible. And empty hands, as the Zephyrians had learned too late, were just another engineering challenge waiting to be solved.